Earlier in the week, Dan Quinn was asked, are you going to play Jayden Daniels in the final preseason game? And he basically said, I'll decide later in the week. And that's a week of debate online, on radio, on all of the places that we talk about our football teams. It goes on because we know at this point he is QB1. That has been decided. And the question now is, what do you do with that information? For me, the answer is actually not very clear because I can make distinct arguments on either side because it's not clear-cut either way, one or the other. That it is definitely the right way to do it, and that's very evident based off the league. Matt Stafford's not going to touch the field the entirety of the preseason. Patrick Mahomes is going to play a lot. C.J. Stroud has played some in the preseason. Joe Burrow has not played, I don't think at all, if very much. Like, there are good quarterbacks that will have great seasons that will do both, that will play some, that will play a little, that will play a lot, that will play none. And it comes down to, what do you want to do as a coach? How much risk are you willing to take on? And I think the biggest question that I have is, what are you actually getting out of the reps? One, there is a logistical part of this that Dan has talked about actually more than almost any other coach that I've ever heard about. What is it like to go through your pregame routine? And this would offer Jayden Daniels an opportunity to go through his pregame routine at home for the first time. He's never done it before. He's never taken the field at Commander's Field. He's never run out of the tunnel. He's never gone from his locker to whatever he wants to do. And your home routine can be different than your road routine because there's just a lot more available to you at home than on the road. With that said, you can go through all that and not play. And coaches will do that. And sometimes they won't even tell the players until right before kickoff. Typically that happens in the first preseason game, not the last. But they'll get guys lathered up. They want them warming up as if they're going to play. And then they'll at the last second be like, you can take your pads off. We're not doing that today. Thanks, but way to take the pregame seriously. I don't feel like that's a Dan Quinn bit. I don't feel like he would do that. I feel like he would tell Jayden, hey, I want you to warm up as if you're going to play. This is your work for the day, so take it seriously. We want you to get this work in. And Jayden would do that, as would some of the other starters, and go through the process. There's also a chance they just tell him, hey, dude, you're totally off. And there's obviously a chance that they tell him, hey, man, you're going to go out there for a series, and that they actually follow through on that. So you have the routine part of it. That is part one of the equation. Part two is the most significant part, which is, what are you actually getting out of the reps? And this is where I think a lot of coaches just go, it's not worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze, because you typically are going to play not the other team's starters, and you're certainly not getting a game plan level, detail-oriented defense. And Jayden Daniels has already proven he has passed the preseason vanilla defense test. If New England's just going to go out there and play a vanilla version of their defense, Jayden Daniels is more than capable of dicing it to pieces. We know that because that's all he's done all preseason long, is move the ball down the field successfully. And yes, did he score a touchdown on every single drive? No. 2 out of 3 ain't bad because he did score 2 out of 3. No, I guess they had one a field goal. They had 2 field goals attempts versus the Dolphins. Yeah, one that they missed, one that they made.
Yep.
All right, but he moved the ball just fine. And if you want to say, let's get him even more reps because reps is experience and he needs experience, then okay, that's fine. I don't think that there is a ton of value at this point in doing more of that. And then you balance that with the risk, which is the one for certain guaranteed thing that you can say about playing players in the preseason is, if they don't play in a game, they can't get hurt in a game. I guess theoretically, if they're on the sideline and they get rolled up on or something, they could, but they're not going to get hurt in the field of play as a player if they don't play. And that certainty of knowing this is our guy, we've gotten him ready for the regular season. We've done the joint practice thing, which is probably harder than the preseason games. And he's ready to go right now and would not be any more ready by playing. why would you expose him to that risk? And that's why ultimately I fall down on the side of I would not play Jayden Daniels in the preseason finale. Now, if you have a conversation as Dan Quinn with Gerard Mayo, the head coach of the New England Patriots, and Mayo's like, we're playing our ones, and we got a couple of things in that could challenge you. We're practicing what it's like to game plan this week, which some coaches used to do more of in the past. In the third preseason game, there used to be some light game planning just to get players used to it. They don't really do that with the 3 preseason games now. And if Mayo was like, I'm taking it old school, we're going to play our ones, and there's going to be some stuff in that's going to make it difficult, is it worth it to put Jayden Daniels out there? I would say it's more worth it than if they don't. It's more worth it than him going out there and facing New England's twos against a vanilla defense. Definitely would be more worth it. And that experience maybe prevents you from having a hiccup early in the season because he sees something, learns something that he would have otherwise learned in a regular season game. And ultimately, that's what it is. Like, it is a learning experience. It is a chance to gain experience. It's a chance to get reps. It's a chance to get time on task. But typically, it's not a lot of time. Those reps aren't very high quality. And the risk is, well, we know what the risk of playing football is. And so for that reason, assuming that New England is not going to do anything crazy, although that franchise, who freaking knows, assuming that New England is just going to play it preseason game 3, I don't think it is worth it to play Jayden Daniels in the final preseason game. And the last, I guess, final part of this equation is, where is your guy currently? And Jayden is at a point where he's ready to play. Like, he clearly can handle the speed. He processes it really well. He doesn't need a ton more of these same types of reps. He needs to now get into what it's like to master a game plan and go against a defense that's geared to stop you, that's taking away certain things, that is shifted in a way to try to expose your weaknesses and make you try to, play against their strengths. And I don't think that playing in the finale is going to get him any more ready than that. I think of actually something that I was watching Hard Knocks last night, and Caleb Williams was sitting down with Matt Eberflus after their latest preseason game, and Flus goes, "So what'd you learn?" And Caleb kind of jokes, and he goes, "Practice is harder than the game." And I think a lot of people are going to watch that clip, and especially a lot of people with preconceived notions of Caleb Williams, and go, "What an arrogant young man." They probably will substitute some kind of derogatory something in for young man. But what an arrogant you-know-what. And the reality is, to this point, Caleb Williams is not wrong. Because Caleb Williams has faced vanilla, preseason, not best players, not remotely schemed up defenses, where in practice, he's facing Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat and all the dudes that they've invested in on the defensive side in Chicago. The game plans might be a little bit more specific because they probably have tried to create situations that have made it harder for Williams to get him ready for the regular season. So I would hope that's actually a good job by the Bears staff working as a unit to make things harder on Caleb Williams than they are in the games. I mean, Keenan Allen talked about how Jalen Johnson is a just terror to play against, and he hadn't had a catch on him the entire camp. Well, all of a sudden, if Caleb Williams is out there with not Jalen Johnson covering Keenan Allen, and he's got some CB2 or even CB1 and CB2s on DJ Moore, well, now he's got, hey, I got both of my stud outside receivers I can throw to, because our all-pro corner or our Pro Bowl corner is not messing up every single play. Yeah, it's easier. Is that going to hold throughout the regular season? No. If you told the Bears staff that Williams could get game type of reps, would they put him out there? Maybe. But it comes down to, where is your guy now? And for the Commanders and Jayden, he's in an excellent spot. And by the way, his confidence is high. It's got to be. Every time he's been out there, it's gone really well. Where's your guy now? What's the quality of the reps? Not very good. You're probably going to be facing 2s and 3s. Maybe a couple of 1s, but those 1s are out there for a reason. They need to prove something. Maybe they're not locked in as 1s. And the scheme is not going to be nearly as challenging as it would be to advance his development. So, where's your guy? What's the quality of the reps? What's the risk? No risk of getting hurt on the sideline compared to actually playing football. And when you factor all those things together, it seems to me like a no-brainer to not play Jayden Daniels this weekend for Dan Quinn and the Commanders. You're so close. He's ready. You've named him QB1. Why would you risk that getting messed up now?
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.